Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to talk about a cheesy creature feature from 1980, and that movie is Alligator. This movie was produced on a budget of $1.5 million, and it grossed $6.5 million upon release. Now, this movie was in the wake of, obviously came after Jaws, and there was a lot of Jaws ripoffs like Grizzly, Piranha, this one, and there was others. Now, Piranha is a fun movie. Grizzly you can have some fun with as a nature run amok movie, and this one's a fun. I mean, it's cheesy as hell, but it's a fun movie to watch. And I remember seeing it when I was a kid on TV. They used to play it a lot. That's how I first saw it. And I've always had fun with this movie. And Robert Forster, who's the lead in the movie, gives a really good performance in the movie. Even though the movie around him at times is not the best, he's still giving it his all, and he's very likable, and he's really good as the lead, and he's a police officer in this movie. This movie was directed by Louis Teague. Most notably, Louis Teague has directed Cujo, Cat's Eye, and the Charlie Sheen action classic Navy SEALs. No, it's not a classic, but that movie's fun. I mean, Michael Biehn's in it, Bill Paxton. It's a fun movie. It's cheesy and over the top, but I like Navy SEALs. I can watch it once in a while. Also in this movie is Robin Riker as the love interest, Marissa. She plays a biologist. This movie, funny enough, had the original script for this movie. Now, obviously, this movie is based on an urban legend. Somebody flushes an alligator down the toilet, and it gets huge and starts eating people. It's ridiculous, but it's a story people have told each other, or people have heard over the years. And in the original script, it took place in Milwaukee. And the alligator mutated from beer being dumped into the sewers from this brewery, which is kind of batshit crazy. But that was the original plot of the movie of how the alligator got big. John Sayles read the script once and threw it away and started over. Now, John Sayles had already done work for Roger Corman writing scripts. He wrote The Howling for Joe Dante. Actually, funny enough story, if you ever watched the special features for The Howling, John Sayles even says how he was writing The Howling the same time he was writing Alligator. So he would spend half his day on The Howling and half his day on Alligator. That's how he did it. He wrote both scripts at one time. And the money he got paid from this movie, he bankrolled into making his own movie. John Sayles is an independent filmmaker. He writes and directs his own films. I've never seen any of them, so I can't say. But he's also acted in some movies. He's the morgue attendant in The Howling. And he also has a role in Joe Dante's movie Matinee, which I really, really like. Eventually, I'll do a review of that one with John Goodman. He has a role in that movie with Dick Miller. They play off each other in that movie. They're together as a pair. But so he's done some acting too, more so for Joe Dante than anything. But he's a legend in Hollywood circles. Is considered one of the better screenwriters of all time, even though he's always worked in lower budgeted movies. And this movie is basically this little girl in the beginning of the movie gets this little baby alligator, and her dad doesn't want her to have it, and he flushes it down the toilet. And that pretty much sets up our whole movie. Robert Forster is this cop who transferred to Chicago. It's set in Chicago, but it's filmed in L.A., and you can kind of tell it's filmed in L.A., not Chicago. But whatever, that's not a big deal. And all of a sudden, people start disappearing, and they're finding body parts at the sewage treatment plant. So he thinks they're coming from the sewers. There's something going on down in the sewers. So he goes down there with this young cop, and they're looking around, and he has a map, and the young cop, all of a sudden, this alligator comes charging at him, and this thing is huge. And they do a nice job hiding the animatronic alligator, and the animatronic alligator in certain shots looks pretty effective, in some shots it doesn't look too effective. And some shots are definitely, you can tell, although they do the best they can, it's a small alligator on a small set, and they film it in a way to make the alligator look huge. And it's for the most part, they pull off the effects pretty well. And some of the gore effects, it's not overly gory. You see limbs here and there. It's not bad. Also, I forgot to mention Henry Silva's in this movie. Henry Silva was in a Chuck Norris movie. He played the main bad guy in, trying to think of the name of that movie, but he was also in Above the Law with Steven Seagal. He played the main bad guy. I can't think of that Chuck Norris movie. It doesn't matter. But he's in this movie as well, and he plays like this hunter they bring in to hunt this alligator once the cops can't seem to get it. Well, anyway, the reason this alligator gets big and it gets discovered in this movie is there's this lab doing tests on animals, rats, and they're they're messing around with genetics, and they throw the dead rats into the sewer. They have this guy who takes them and dumps them in the sewer for them. And he gets eaten by the alligator too, but that's what makes the alligator grow into this giant alligator. It's from this genetics testing on these rats, and the alligator's been surviving off these rats. And as the movie goes forward, the alligator, there's a part, after the cop gets killed, Robert Forster, the young cop that goes with him in the sewer, gets killed by the alligator, gets eaten. He gets out and he tells everybody there's an alligator down there. They send a SWAT team, all these cops to go down there, they can't find it. So everybody in the force thinks he's crazy. So he kind of gets suspended, and he's not a cop. Well, he's off the case or whatever. And in the meantime, the alligator starts running amok. It shows up at night and eats a couple people. And they send this hunter in after him, and he fails. He gets eaten by this alligator. And there's a scene, and the scene at night. I mean, it's the alligator's huge, but it busts up through the sidewalk of the street, and then it goes on a rampage and kills a few people, including this Henry Silva's character, this hunter. And then it just starts killing people. And Robert Forster and this girl team up, and they're trying to find it so they can kill it and stop it. And basically at the end of the movie, it crashes a wedding and eats some people. It eats the mayor. And it kills the guy who owns the lab that caused all this. And then Robert Forster has a bomb that he takes out of the evidence locker that the police had confiscated off this other guy. And he ends up getting stuck in the sewer with it, and his love interest gets there's a car on the manhole cover, which is the same plot device they used in Chud, if you've ever seen that movie. And she moves that movie was made a couple years later after this. But he throws the bomb at the alligator, and he gets out, and the alligator gets blown up. And that's pretty much the movie, man. And it's a quick movie. It's only about 92 minutes long. You can watch it and have fun. It's a cheesy, yes. There's plot holes out the ass. But it's an enjoyable little creature feature. Nature Run Amok movie. If you enjoyed movies like, I mean, this is lower budget, obviously. But if you enjoyed movies like Lake Placid or Rogue, which is really good, an Australian movie made by Greg McLean, the same guy who did Wolf Creek. If you like alligator movies like that, you'll like this movie. Or movies like Deep Blue Sea. It's not meant to be taken seriously. Like I said, Robert Forster gives a really good performance. Louis Teague does a decent job with the directing. It's nothing special, but he does a decent job with it. And the effects are, for the most part, they're not bad. They're not great, but they're not bad. They did what they could with a $1.5 million budget. And it's just a fun little movie. I just rewatched it last weekend. My wife went to bed early, and I pulled it out, and I hadn't watched it in years. I have it on DVD. I don't even think it's available on Blu-ray. But yeah, I would give Alligator a 7 out of 10. It's an enjoyable little flick. I would equate it more to, in the line of like Critters, something like that. Just a fun, cheesy movie. Just sit down and have fun with. And that's about it for Alligator. I give it a 7 out of 10. If you've never seen it, check it out. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere. I haven't seen it on a streaming service, but I'm sure maybe Amazon Prime might have it. But yeah, that's it for me for Alligator. If you've ever seen it, let me know what you think of it down below. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share. And I'll be back soon with another review. Thanks. Bye.